Hi there again, BookTube, Leanne here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to record the Sapphic Book Tag because it's Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, everybody! So this tag was created by Teresa at Sappho's library, so I will link her video down below. I've also seen a couple of other people do this tag recently. It's been updated because Teresa made it a while ago and she's updated it recently, so I thought I would give it a try, seeing as it's Pride Month, and I'm only reading LGBTQ books this month, so I'm only part way through that, of course, but I want to recommend some LGBTQ plus books to you guys, and obviously some of the books in this list I couldn't make LGBTQ. There's only one prompt actually that would get me to recommend specifically a Sapphic book to you guys, but I've tried to fit as many Sapphic books into these tag prompts as possible for you, but I just thought this was good fun and I wanted to have a go, so on to the tag. So the first question is Criers' War, a book with the enemies to lovers trope, and for this I've gone for Children of Blood and Bone by Todi Adeyemi, because that has a enemies to lovers trope. However, I didn't actually like the trope in this book. I didn't like the character that it happened, the two characters that happened between. I actually kind of thought that this book should have been a Sapphic book, personally, because of how the characters reacted and the relationship that was built in the book. That's just my personal opinion. I adored the book. I thought it was brilliant. It was just that one little thing that I thought should have been different. But again, that's my personal opinion. I didn't like the enemies to lovers trope in this book specifically. So yeah, but brilliant book, highly recommend. The next question is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. A book about a celebrity, whether it's real or fictional. And for this I went for Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. This is an LGBT book. It features it features a character that is gay. The character is just so adorable and I love him so much. He is my favourite character in the book and I just love him. I just want to give him the biggest hug ever. But yes, I highly recommend Kings of the Wild. As I said in my last video, that and Bloody Rose are stunning books. You should definitely read them. Just gorgeous. The next prompt was Girls of Paper and Fire, a book with a strong feminist theme. And for this I went with Sorcerer to the Crown by Zen Cho, another really great book that I read a few months ago. I really enjoyed it. I would say it's got strong feminist themes because there's a lead female character living in a time where women were just seen as second-class citizens, and she can't be held back. She really wants to go forward with things and use magic in a system where magic isn't allowed for women. It's just not done, and if it is, they're kind of hidden away and don't want people to see them doing it. So I would say this has strong feminist themes, as well as strong themes of race and all that kind of stuff, because racism is quite prominent in the time zone of this book, and it deals with that well too. The next prompt is These Witches Don't Burn, and this is a book with magic in it, and for this I went for the Mistborn books by Brandon Sanderson. It has a kind of different kind of magic than we're used to, especially in a fantasy world. So the magic is kind of scientific, and Brandon Sanderson kind of explains it in such a way, but it is obviously magic. It's allomancy used with metal, and I think Brandon Sanderson has a very scientific mind, so he kind of puts that into his fantasy elements and kind of seems to have to explain his magic system very, very specifically. But I adore the magic system in Brandon Sanderson's world. It's just, I need to reread Mistborn at some point, but I love the allomancy in those books, so I highly recommend those. The next prompt is You Should See Me in a Crown, a book featuring royalty, and for this I went for The Never Tilting World by Rin Chapeko, a book I talked about in my last video, in my May wrap up. highly recommend. It's a 5 out of 5 stars for me. I enjoyed that book a lot. It was gorgeous. But it's about two goddesses, but their mums, like their mums who are goddesses, they rule opposite ends of the world, and it's absolutely brilliant story about the whole system and how they are going to fix the world because it needs fixing. It's not turning anymore. So yeah, that's my pick for a book featuring royalty. As you can tell, I'm an avid fantasy reader, so most of these are going to be fantasy. The next prompt is This Is How You Lose a Time War, and this is a book featuring star-crossed lovers. And for this, the only book I could think of, because I don't know if I've read that many books with star-crossed lovers, I'm not sure. The only thing I could think of was Shadowhunters, because it's not only Clary and Jace are kind of pushed apart because of all the things that happen. I'm going to talk about the LGBT relationship in the story. Alec and Magnus are also like pushed apart throughout the story a lot as well because of family and because people are not accepting them as a couple. So I'm gonna go with that because I love Alec and Magnus and they're just adorable. And Magnus is one of my favourite characters. So the next prompt is Cinderellas Dead, and this is a book with a retelling, basically. And for this, I went for The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And I went for this because it is a reimagining of the Iliad. So I've gone for something different, and it does feature a gay relationship because it's got Achilles and Patroclus. That is not a spoiler because, like, the Iliad, it's like thousands of years old. And they're very clearly a couple. So the next prompt is the Miseducation of Cameron Post. I don't know, I've never read this book. But this is a book you'd like to see adapted onto screen. And for me, some people might not like me for this, but I know most people didn't like the adaptation that exists. And this is Percy Jackson. The Percy Jackson series needs a decent, an actual good adaptation. So I would love to see this actually on screen and be good. The first movie was okay. The second one was just, let's not talk about that. So the next prompt is How to Make a Wish, an upcoming release you wish you had in your hands right now. And for me, this is The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. I've heard so many people rave about the arc that they've received of this and saying that it's a brilliant story. Also, it's a sapphic romance in the story, and it sounds like such a gorgeous, gorgeous story. And I think it's like royalty with a servant kind of romance. So that sounds great, and I can't wait to get this book when it comes out. Very excited. The next prompt is The Priory of an Orange Tree, a book that is a real chonker. And I'm just going to stick with Priory of the Orange Tree that is right here behind me because it is a real chonker. It's got a sapphic relationship in it, and I think it's such a beautiful book, and I loved it so much when I read it. So I'm sticking with that as that prompt because it's the book I want to mention to you guys, and you should definitely read it. If it's intimidating you and you have it on your shelf, just pick it up because it's so great and I love it. It's definitely worth the read. And people keep asking if there's dragons in it because there's a dragon on the cover, and fantasy has a way of tricking people into buying it and by putting a dragon on the cover. There are dragons, like it's got multiple perspectives, and one of the perspectives is about a girl who becomes like kind of like a dragon rider type thing. So yes, there are dragons. Read it. It's great. So the next prompt is Honey Girl, a tiny baby short book. And for this I went for The Prince and the Dressmaker, which is up here. This features a character that one character's making dresses for the prince. Because by day he's the prince and by night he's basically a drag queen who performs in these dresses, and people love him or love her, either which way. And so the dressmaker makes obviously the prince's clothes as well as the character who becomes at night. So it's Such a lovely little story, and I really, really enjoyed it in June. It's so cute. So the next prompt is Saw Kill Girls, a spooky book. I don't think I have any spooky books to recommend to you guys. I don't, some of them might be spooky and I just don't realise because I don't really get freaked out very easily, but I don't think I have one for this prompt, sorry. The next prompt is A Midnight Lie, a book with an intoxicating romance. And for me, I'm going for Gideon the Ninth by Tasmin Moore. I'm reading this right now and I absolutely adore this book so much. And there are romances in it, not very in your face romances, they're kind of somewhat subtle throughout the book, and it's kind of, yeah, we don't know where the romance is going, but it's so intoxicating and I love it so much. And the characters in these books are just great. And I love the romance in it. Other people might not, and I adore these characters so much and I love them. So the next prompt is The Henna Wars, a book that explores a culture different to my own. And for this, I've gone for Mythos by Stephen Fry. It's ancient Greece. This is the completely different culture to ours, a total different religion, and I love the way Stephen Fry portrays his characters. And it's by a gay author, and I love it. Stephen Fry's brilliant. Love him so much, and I just love the way he writes about mythology, so yay! The next prompt is the Falling in Love montage, and this is a rom-com. Guys, I don't read contemporary. The closest thing I can say is like Heartstopper, but I don't know if that counts as a rom-com, so I don't know. I can't do this prompt, sorry. And for the final prompt is to recommend a Sapphic book, and for this I'm going for Bloody Rose by Nicholas Eames. I adore this book so much, and there is a Sapphic romance going on throughout the book between our main character Tam and another character that I'm not going to say because it's kind of spoilery, because it happens progressively throughout the book, and they're so cute. They're my favourite, and I love them. I honestly, Bloody Rose is such a gorgeous book, and I love it so much. I only recently read it, but I already kind of want to read it again. It's become one of, like, Nicholas Eames has become one of my favourite authors. He's got 2 books out and I love them. I adore those 2 books so much, and I will be rereading in the future. Those are all my recommendations to you guys. Mostly LGBTQ books, a few in between that aren't so much. But yeah, I highly recommend all of those books that I mentioned. And I hope you enjoyed my tag video. Also, I'm wearing a Bianca Del Rio top because she is my favourite drag queen. Yay, Pride Month! See you in my next video. Bye!